I didn't feel like cooking, so I stopped at Buc-ee's, and the unholy beaver has provided us with a bounty. We got pulled pork sandwich. I don't know where they pulled it from, and I'm not sure I want to know. We got hot honey barbecue chips. We got fruit, water, sugar-free root beer, and then some snackies for tomorrow. Some Omega trail mix and some beef jerky. So we should be all set. Behold. It doesn't really look super photogenic. We got a recreation hall. Lake's right through there. There's a cool little bridge down here that connects the recreation hall to the camping grounds over here. This is all original stone work from when the CCC built this place. And here's the bridge. There he goes. Look like a youngin'. Alright. That way takes you to Bastrop. But we're not going to Bastrop. We're going to our campsite. Last time I was out here, the picnic bench was here, not over there. And we got a tent pad. Now, here it is, February, dead of winter, and the high was 80 degrees today. And I brought a winter weather tent that I've never used before. So, it might be overkill for what we're going to be dealing with on this trip. Oop, the kiddos are out. Let's see if I can figure out this tent.
Well, I packed it up and let Buescher grab it.
This is really ruining the illusion of being out in the middle of nowhere. Hey, it's beginning to look like a tent. Sure enough. Alright. Tonight, I have a closed cell foam pad. And on top of that, I'm going to put this Big Agnes Rapide foam, not foam, air pad. Should we do another take? Yes. Will we? No. Not an expert here. I have been thoroughly impressed by this air pad. I used it on my trip out to Inks Lake, my first backpacking trip in 20 years, and it's really comfortable. So let's hope that I don't pop it or puncture it or perforate it, because it's very expensive. I want to buy it again. This is a pump sack, the white bag, and the idea is you blow into it softly and fill it up with air, and then push the air into the pad. idea being that you don't blow a gasket trying to blow up your air pad. But I'm not worried because I'm full of hot air. I think that'll do. My concern was that the pad would be too long for this tent, but I think it'll work. It's pretty snug. This is my first winter weather tent that I've ever had, and what makes it a winter weather tent is it's majority fabric instead of mesh. So the idea is that it will keep the heat in the tent. Of course, again, it's not cold, but here we are. It's morning. And we survived. It's a little chilly. I think the low was another county. Another county heard from. I think the low was 43 and the high is supposed to be 83 today, so it's gonna get a little warm. So I'm layering accordingly so I can shed layers. The tent was pretty warm, but it's a little short for me. So you can see my head was pushed right up against the side and my feet were pushed on the other side. And the problem with that is the down bag compresses, so my feet got kind of cold over the course of the night. So that's the trade-off with this particular tent. It's good for winter weather, but it is a little small for me. But it's the cheapest winter weather tent that I could get, so that still is of decent quality. Well, I went ahead and packed up camp. I had to go to the front office to get my permit, so I didn't have time to really dally because I was moving so slow this morning, so I didn't really get a chance to eat anything for breakfast. So let's see what we have here. I got vegan bites. I'd like some coffee, but of course it's already warming up quite a bit, especially, son of a bitch, dropping all my shit. What was I saying? It's warming up quite a bit, so it's not even ideal coffee weather, but you know, I slept in quite a bit. It was pretty noisy over there. I love people, but they are the worst. So it wasn't as peaceful as I was hoping it would be, but you know, there were a lot of dogs and kids whining, both the dogs and the kids. I think people were making a lot of noise until close to 1. So definitely didn't get as much sleep as I would have liked, but kind of comes with the territory of sleeping outside. You never sleep quite as well as you would under normal circumstances. I got quite the setup here. I got the MSR pocket rocket, which I always thought was a funny name for a stove. The pocket rocket. That's my nickname in high school. I got this contraption with the coffee grounds in it. It goes over your mug. I learned is you want to make sure you pull these handles out before you boil the water, because once it's boiling and you go to try to pick it up, it's hard and blazes. So you always want to make sure your grabbers are deployed, you know, for grabbing. They think that's good. Well, damski, it's still hotter than blazes. Shit. It's working and percolating. Ah, yes. This is the important stuff about camping. How are you going to get your daily allotment of caffeine? All right. We're on the road again. This is a big loop that's about 4 miles. This way is a spur that goes back to the main part of the park. But I wanted to go backtrack a little bit because the last time I was out here, back on this spur,
Thank you.
oh, no problem. Actually, a lot of people out here today. Usually Buescher is pretty quiet, but this weekend it's been pretty loud, busy. Anyway, last time I was out here, they were putting these Boy Scouts to work building a trail, a new trail, and so I wanted to go back and see if I could see any of the progress that they've made on building the new bit of trail. I'm very new to this vlogging, video journal crap, so I get self-conscious around other people talking to myself or talking to the camera. Makes me feel like I'm crazy, which I am. Last time I was out here, I did the full trail, the spur and the loop. And as I was coming through here, I ran into a Boy Scout troop, clearing brush and working on the trail. Yeah, looks like they've been working on it some more. I assume the Scouts were doing it as a service project, but you can see they've got it marked with flags, and it's going to zigzag back up this way and along the other side of that wash. And they're doing that because this section had gotten eroded, and so they're trying to preserve this area by redoing the trail and having it bypass this section. Looks like it may come up over this way and come back around. But yeah. Over that way is Smithville, Texas. Small town. Down that road back that way is Bastrop. Much bigger town. Bastrop is, heck, out that way. There's a road that connects Buescher State Park to Bastrop State Park. And it kind of winds around that way and over there. And it's a really nice drive. I'll have to take y'all on it at some point once I get more memory for this wonderful little contraption. Well, that's enough dallying. Let's move along. The obligatory map breakdown. My shadow will stay out of the way. We came in down here, had dinner last night at this overlook, came around and camped over here, and then now we have driven up to here, backtracked a little bit to go look at the trail that they were building, came back up here, and now we're going to do this big old loop-de-loop, which is about 4 miles. A lot of traffic today. Feral hogs. Pack's a little heavier today because it's warming up. I opted to bring more water, which is heavier. I think they say 1 liter of water is about 2 pounds. I have 6 liters, so I'm carrying about 12 pounds just of water. Not to mention all the other crap. There's two shortcuts on this loop. This is the first one. It's called the Owl something or other. The second one is further up, and it's called Roosevelt something or other. The names escape me at the moment. Bark, bark, bark. I better take this slow. Left turn, Clyde. Very sharp. Long way down. Now we're going down, down, down.
Thank you.
No problem. I don't want to get run over. Or me.
How are you today?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
Busy section. Ooh, a bridge. Behold the bridge. All right, we made it up out of the gulch, and I didn't keel over. We should be getting close to the second shortcut, but we ain't taking no shortcuts unless we do. Ooh. Another burned up tree. Well, very rocky. Crunch, 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 crunch. The Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up a hill and he marched them down again. When you're up, and when you're down. And when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down. It's the one song I learned in Scouts that lives rent-free in my head. Well, not the only one. As I was singing that song, there was definitely a guy walking his dog within earshot and came around the corner of the trail. This is why I get self-conscious talking to myself out here. It's a little awkward. I love these loblolly pines. These pine trees adapted to grow in the really silty, sandy ground out here, so they can go long periods of time without water. They're tough, rugged. Sorry, almost went into a Chevy commercial. That's the Roosevelt shortcut. Some people down there on the bridge. I believe this is the third one, but I'm not an expert. We are on our way to the northernmost point of Buescher State Park, and it is pronounced Buescher. It's spelled B-U-E-S-H-E-R, if memory serves. So a lot of people try to pronounce it Buescher or Buescher, but I have it on good authority. It's pronounced Buescher. Like Fisher, but with a B. That's pretty. I feel like the northernmost part of Buescher sort of mirrors the farthest west part of, or no, farthest east part of Buescher State Park. Even though they're about 12 miles apart, they have a very similar vibe. And there was a time where all of Buescher Park looked like this, from my conversations with people that used to go out there before the fire. It's hard to imagine the entire Buescher State Park looking like this, with tall trees. It's a real tragedy that many of them burned up. But hopefully someday they'll come back and we'll be able to keep them. is my shadow self. Well, it stands to reason that this is the fourth bridge. But, I mean, if you're coming from the other way, it's the first one. So, yeah. It's the fourth one on this side, too. That just goes to show you can't believe everything you read. And everything kind of depends on what direction you're coming from at it. That's folksy wisdom. You know, bullshit. We are coming up on the other side of that second shortcut. I think it's called the Roosevelt Cutoff. This is it. So we could go back that way and connect on the other side of the loop from whence we came. That's where we came from. I think we're gonna finish out the loop. Up here ahead is one of my favorite spots. It's a little pond. The last time I was out here, there were a bunch of little frogs all along the rim of the pond, and it was really neat. So I'm hoping the frogs are still there, but we shall see. Oh no. Well, this was a pond, and now there are no frogs and no pond. Bummer. Well, we'll have to come back when it rains. Alright, I got a little bonus here. I left Buescher State Park and headed into Smithville to grab a beer and a Reuben, and saw a historical marker. My grandfather taught me always check out historical markers. This is West End Park. West End Park in Smithville, located 200 yards west, was one of the last Texas stops on the Chitlin Circuit, a string of performance venues in the South that served as safe and accepting spaces for African American performers. Chitlin Circuit refers to the chitlins and soul food dishes that clubs often sold, although the clubs were also referred to as the one-nighter circuit or the theatrical circuit. West End Park was owned by I.T. Harper, a former pitcher for the Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro Leagues, and his wife, Sis. In the racially segregated Jim Crow South, this was an important venue from the early 1900s until the 1960s for many African American musicians excluded from white venues. The surrounding park was a location for many events and gatherings in the African American community, the majority of whom mainly lived on the south side of the railroad tracks in Smithville. The baseball field at the park was used for Negro Leagues baseball, and longtime residents recall watching legendary Negro Leagues players such as Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson in exhibition games against the Smithville team. When not arranged as a baseball field, local families used West End Park as gathering places for church picnics, holiday celebrations, and family reunions for the African American community, as the Chitlin Circuit was a significant part of many notable performers, careers renowned jazz and blues artists such as Lightning Hopkins, Etta James, Joe Tex, T-Bone Walker, Roosevelt Thomas Williams, aka the Gray Ghost, and Hannibal Lacumbe, Marvin Peterson, played at the local venue. In 2009, the governor's office issued a proclamation recognizing West End Park's significance to Bastrop County and Texas. So I guess that's the baseball field. Or was the baseball field. Cool.